Hi, Nick. How are you?
How are you?
You can come in.
Okay. I'm gonna move next.
I didn't see
I
it
was
either.
moving next to Catherine.
Oh, you are next to Catherine.
Yep.
What's up?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? I like working right here too.
Kath, thanks.
You're welcome. Those are, I had things in my bag Friday night.
Hillary, do they have packets? Do you have packets?
Yeah.
So I need to make sure
Thank
that's
you. You're
over.
welcome.
I had refresh. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's adorable. I love it. That makes me so happy.
Turn on button.
Ken told me about. Ken told me about the dinners.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it is awesome. That all stemmed from us talking about.
It's cold out.
Am I allowed to take a picture?
Sure, if you would like to.
I have some.
It's the wrong way. Oh, you're gonna take a picture.
Yeah, I printed out the instructions today. I worked third shift last night, so my gumption to get up and do everything was very limited, so. I have to figure out how to split 43 people.
Okay.
At mine. I'll do it.
All right. So this is the one meeting a year where you have to deal with me presiding over the meeting for a short period of time. So if I could begin with a roll call.
Peggy Jones Blanchard,
Here.
Tracy Ricky. Here. Sally Hurst Dickinson.
Here.
Jessica Wheeler Russell. Here. Laura Vincent.
Here.
Eric Henson. Daniel Marks.
Here.
Owen Harrington.
Here.
Lauren Martin.
Here.
Melissa Muzzy. Here. Julia Jones.
Here.
And I'd like to ask Nick to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As someone who will soon be an Eagle Scout, I figured Nick would know those words and be able to lead us. So thank you, Nick. So here's where we look at the slate. We have the current slate of officers is changing a bit. Celia is no longer on the board. So this will first start by taking nominations and electing a chair, and then I will hand off the microphone.
I'd like to.
Yes.
I would like to nominate Tracy Bricky for the role of chair of the school board.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on Tracy as chair? Any other nominations for chair?
I would like to nominate Melissa Muzzy for chair.
So I think what we'll have to do, we'll take the first motion that was made, see how the vote, we can have a discussion about the two. Let's make sure first they'd both be willing to accept nomination. Would you accept the nomination, Melissa? Okay. So we can, if anyone wants to have any discussion about the two nominees, and then we'll start with the first one that was made was for Tracy. We'll take that vote. If that does not have enough votes to move on, then we'll look at Melissa. All right. Any discussion about the two nominees?
I'll
Yes,
just, I mean, I like you both. Um, And there's just a natural progression from vice chair to chair. So I just wanted to kind of, offer Tracy's experience as vice chair of the board in the recent past as a good precursor to the work that I anticipate she would do as chair.
I can speak. I like to speak a little bit too. Again, I've had the pleasure of working with both of you for how long? 4 years now. And I think you're both wonderful at the job that you do for our students. And I also kind of agree with Sally that Tracy's had some experience as vice chair. She brings, that kind of experience going through the process of, as we just did, through hirings and stuff like that. I think it would be a valuable experience to bring to as chair.
any other comments? All right, so we'll start with the first motion that was for Tracy Bricky as chair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so I'm handing the mic over to Tracy.
Okay. Thank you. So our next order of business is the election of the vice chair. And currently it says Tracy Bricky, but she just vacated that spot. So we have a new spot for the vice chair. I would like to take nominations, if I could.
I nominate Melissa.
A second?
Second.
Okay. Anyone else? Melissa, are you willing to be vice chair?
Sure. I think it'd be a great experience.
Okay. We don't need to,
All in favor and take
okay. I was going to say, I didn't think that we need
I don't think
to
it'll be
actually vote,
silent, but-
but all in favor of Melissa as vice chair?
Aye.
And we can do the next three as a slate.
Okay. So the next three are clerk, Kristen Bean Warren, and treasurer, Louise Dupre, and alternate signer, Katie Keyser. We can do those as a slate of officers. If I would have a motion for that slate.
So moved.
Sally, Melissa? Okay. Anybody, any discussion for that?
Tracy, can you repeat treasurer?
Yes, treasurer is Louise Dupre, Dupre. All those in favor of the slate of officers?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. So let's look at the minutes of the previous meeting. Sally?
Okay. I have just a couple of suggestions for purposes of clarification.
Uh-huh.
And item number 9, under old business, the second line, I recommend either adding day
Mhm.
as in a remote learning day or removing a so that it just says regarding remote learning.
Mhm.
So,
Either one.
yeah, either one would be fine. And then, let's see, in item number 13, in the second to last line, the sentence that says the Sealant Coalition funding has expired, I would go ahead and end the sentence there and then begin a new sentence with, capital T, there is a new program. And let's see, there was one other, actually, okay, so these are sort of vanity suggestions. In that, in item number 9 and item number 17, for the sake of consistency, I'd like to request that a hyphen be added between my first and last,
Uh-huh.
my last name.
Your last name's.
Yeah, but I have long regretted legalizing with a hyphen, but there it is. So.
Did you say 17?
9 and 17.
Yeah. Is that all?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's enough. for
Okay.
everything.
Thank you. Anybody else? All those in favor of the minutes as amended
Aye.
or as corrected, actually? Okay, thank you.
Same.
Okay, that opens up our first public comment for items on the agenda. Anybody? Anybody from the public want to comment? Okay, then. Next, SAU report on MV Business and Finance.
Sure. In your packet, you'll find the March 2024 overage report and corresponding financial report. Julia, just so you know, every month we report on any accounts that are $1,000 or more over. So you'll see that every month we just report on it. The overages are due. I don't think there's any changes from last year other than I think there was a salary line in facilities that was over that covered that overage has cleared. The rest is due to special ed and district-wide facilities and maintenance needs.
Any questions for Hillary? A motion? Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of the report on MV Business and Finance, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. Good news.
So as is typical, we have a ton of good news that you hopefully were able to cruise through in your packet. There was 66 pages of good news in there. So pages 16 through 82 from all of our schools. Catherine, did you want to do some of your other good news now or just as part of your report? Okay. So certainly entertain any questions about anything in the good news, and Catherine has some more to add to it. Some recent good news. Yep, that's, did you see that
Yes,
in
I
there?
did.
That's pretty cool stuff.
I want to come.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So do I
Reach out-
just,
reach
do I
out
just
to the
reach out to
principal.
the
Yep.
principal? Okay, good. Because I definitely want to be there for that.
Yep.
It was so cool. Okay. Student representative report, Nick?
Alrighty. So I have a few things today, starting with over 20 students from 9th to 12th grade participated in the Capital Region's first Getting to Why data retreat, along with community partners from Granite United Way. Mr. Shimataro, Ms. Kennedy, Mrs. Kraus, and Mr. Stevenson were our teacher advisors. The purpose of this retreat was for students to analyze the youth risk behavior survey data from our school, identifying strengths and concerns, and develop an action plan to tackle our concern areas. Students worked hard from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. and demonstrated leadership, critical thinking, and communication skills. Community partners provided snacks and drinks, so there was a plus. And the Horse Chase Lodge allowed us to use their building. Some upcoming dates: on April 11th, 12th, and 13th, the High School Drama Club will be presenting the production of the SpongeBob musical. Tickets and more information will be available in the coming weeks. And I'll also remind you at our April meeting, March 12th is the district band concert at 6 p.m. in the high school auditorium, a great way to support both the middle school and high school bands as they will be participating in the same concert. March 15th will be a Red Cross blood drive here at the school. So for more than a decade, we at Merrimack Valley have been hosting an annual blood drive. The students and staff at Merrimack Valley High School have donated over 500 total units of blood over the last 13 years. The National Honor Society will be hosting this event next Friday, March 15th. So if any of you would like to donate, just get a hold of Mrs. Prescott at aprescott@mvsdpride.org, and she will set you up with a time. March 20th will be the district chorus concert at 6 p.m. So same deal as the band. It'll be middle and high school. And March 27th will be the SAT exam day here at the high school. So juniors are preparing to take their SAT. Spring sports are also starting to get going. And also with some music department, they hosted the Chocolate Fest. I know Jessica Wheeler Russell and Tracy Bricky attended that event. It was a very well attended event. It went very well. And also, the music department wants to give a big thanks to Salisbury Woods for giving us a generous donation. I also have some things from the elementary schools. On February 20th, Boscawen Elementary School celebrated Hootie Hoo Day. So they opened their doors and windows and yelled Hootie Hoo to send winter away and hope for a quick spring. And Loudon Elementary School hosted like a masked reader assembly to celebrate I Love to Read Week. So have any of you watched the show like The Masked Singer? Well, this is pretty much what it was. They had a group of teachers and they dressed up in masks and they read parts of books, and then the students had to guess what teacher it was. So that was pretty neat. And the middle school on February 12th, the 6th grade band and chorus went to all the elementary schools and performed. This is a great way to get kids interested in the arts. And some jokes. We have St. Patrick's Day coming up. So what's the best way to make gold soup? Use 14 carrots. Where do leprechauns play baseball? In a little league. And what's the best month of the year to host a parade? March. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Moving on to committee reports, policy.
I wasn't at that meeting. because I
Nope.
was out.
Yes.
I don't know if you would mind. I know there's 4 in here for first read.
Mhm.
So we actually haven't met as a committee. So we haven't met as a committee since our last meeting, which was the day of the board meeting. So we sent 4 policies to the board for a first read. They are in your packet.
Mhm.
And actually, at that February meeting, there was also another policy that was in there for a first read. So we have a tentative date set for our next policy meeting of next Monday, but I think
Yes. Oh, we're not meeting?
we are, but I think we also need to get to committee assignments.
Oh, true.
Before we really
Yes.
solidify that.
So thank you. So there really isn't anything new to report based on the last meeting.
Nope,
Okay,
just
perfect.
looking for feedback in regards to the policies for the first read.
Perfect.
And we are voting on one in, no, we're not.
No,
I lied.
not today.
I lied to you. I lied. They're all first read. Any questions on any of the policies? Any comments on any of the policies? Curriculum?
So curriculum committee met on the 19th of February. We had a presentation from our ELA specialist, Melissa Lear. She presented to the curriculum committee about our newly adopted ELA resource, Benchmark Advance. That's for the elementary grades, K to 5. And she also presented on the process that led to this decision and provided an overview of the science of reading, which is the body of research that currently is considered best practice in terms of ELA instruction, as well as structured literacy, which is the approach through which instruction is delivered. So that was our work at curriculum.
I know that we don't record curriculum or any committees, but was there like a PowerPoint presentation if we wanted to read through it just to get an idea of what was said?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be great.
So Melissa did have a digital presentation that she shared. And actually curriculum committee had the suggestion that in the future for her to bring an abbreviated presentation to the full board
I appreciate
as
that.
well. So
So will you share that digital?
sure, I can certainly
Thanks.
share out the digital presentation with board members.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Old business. There is none. So, new business, the MVSD school board member ethics policy.
So for those of you who are returning board members, this is something that we do annually at policy BCA. It is in your packet, and you'll be receiving a Google form from Catherine and I, probably after this meeting. We'll email it out to you, and it's really just your digital signature on that, saying that you read and understand the BCA. It is, the policy is actually copied right into the Google form if you wanted to read it over again. Those are the things that went through the policy committee a couple of years ago, and we really sort of tweaked that and updated it, got it into a pretty good place. So, if you don't have it done by the next board meeting, you'll start getting, emails from us saying, hey, so you're going to sign that? But pretty quick and easy. And it had, the policy itself hasn't changed. So those of you who are returning, it really is the same board member ethics that you'll see each year.
Any questions about that? Any questions about that? Next, school board committee assignments. Is that you?
Yeah, I think we'll probably do this together.
Tag team?
Tag team.
Yeah, so we have 8 committees plus the CSI liaison. And Seeley's retirement has left vacancies on curriculum, long-range plan, negotiations, and student ethics, but we recognize that there may be some additional reorganization that board members may be interested in. I think we've sort of taken a look at the order in which members have entered the board and thought that might be the best way to proceed through offering people the opportunity to make changes if they so desire. So should we just proceed through the ones that are open?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So let's start with curriculum. We have an opening there, and we know that a transition is going to mean an opening is created someplace else. I know that Jesse, you have expressed interest in curriculum in the past. I don't know if that's something that you.
Yes, I have, and I would be happy to accept that.
Eric had his hand.
Yeah,
But I think-
was gonna say, I have also have interest in curriculum.
That really, really, really hurts.
Does not matter to me.
So why don't we,
Where I am is fine.
Why don't you do a cage fight?
Yeah, we just flip a coin. He's gonna take me out.
well, there could be some movement. So if we look, let me see, as I look around the table, who's been here the longest? I think Laura has it by a little bit, just a little bit.
We lost our computer.
That's right, don't worry, we're still live,
We're still there.
so not to fear. Laura, did you want to change any of your committee assignments, or are you happy with the current
Happy.
ones? Okay, all right. All right, so we're crossing Laura off the list, and who do we have next? Sally, the second longest serving. How did you get to be the veteran?
I'm quite happy on curriculum. So I'd
How
like
about
to-
your other committees? Are there any that you would look to throw into the mix?
I mean, if someone wanted to fight me for negotiations, I'd step aside. I won't move unless I'm urged to.
Okay,
would take negotiation.
Would you?
But we have 2 openings on negotiations because Celia's not on my list. So that's good.
So,
is there anyone else that would be interested in negotiations?
It's good fun.
So Dan, we'll put you in the open spot. Let me see, what does that give Dan for a total?
4.
That'll give you 4. So that may be good, because then we're only going to hopefully give Julie a 3, which I think for a first year is probably a good move anyway. That's it. It's only 3, Julia. No worries. So,
Melissa and Tracy are the next.
all right.
I am happy with mine. I mean, I would be more than willing to give up policy if anybody wanted to take that.
And I'm keeping policy because I love it.
Yeah. I don't dislike it.
I
It's
know.
just not my favorite. I prefer finance, so there.
Is there anyone that would be interested in policy? Okay. All
I
right.
thought it was on transportation too, but apparently not.
Julia?
Next Friday, next Monday, your first meeting.
Rivet policy. Okay, so Julia's on there. And did you have,
I thought I was on transportation, but I'm not on transportation. I don't know when I did that. So I like what I have, but if we need, like, I only have 3 right now, because like I said, I thought I was on transportation. So if there's another committee that needs somebody, I can at the end figure out where we might need somebody.
and there is curriculum.
It would have to be Melissa.
So Melissa,
Mhm.
if Eric leaves finance, that means you have to be on finance.
Okay, there I go. Then I'm on
Yeah,
finance.
I'm
not
fine
curriculum.
saying right now, honestly.
Well, we'll see as we get down the pecking order and see
Yeah.
as we get there. So,
Owen?
Finance? Is she on finance?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Will you send out like a,
yeah, there'll be an
Yeah,
update.
we-
Yeah.
thank you.
Owen
She's the
and-
one that
Yes.
has some specifics, right?
You mean, you don't have this all locked in as we're doing
I
it
haven't
live
been
like
paying
this?
Owen and Jessica.
I would actually be happy to take over the finance position if you would not, if you'd like to slide into.
It has to be one from each town.
Each town, you're right.
Yep.
Can't have, oh, so wait, who are we missing from there?
That's why if Eric,
Oh, sorry, Eric, you're stuck.
So if Eric steps
No,
off, it would have to
if
be
Eric
Melissa.
Steps down, I said I would take one
Oh,
more.
that's right.
So-
Okay, that makes sense.
So I'll wait until
So,
he
but
figures
if
out
Eric
what he
wanted
wants to
come
do. and-
curriculum.
Right. Yep.
So as far as for me, I have always had an interest in curriculum, but I'm actually very happy with policy and facilities and negotiations. So I'm kind of good just sticking where I am.
Good.
Although I would also like to throw a complete wrench in this a little bit and say I've had an interest in joining the Concord Joint School Board Committee. And I did, tentatively reach out that we have to kind of agree to it as a board, but so something to think about in the future. I don't think it's appropriate to have the full discussion right now, but something for the future.
Yeah, so that would be an ad hoc committee.
Yeah.
And so we could maybe discuss that at the April meeting,
Yep, sounds
because
good.
that's not something that becomes a formal board
Mhm,
committee, but it could be, we could consider that ad hoc.
So I'm happy, where I am. I like all my committees.
Okay.
I would love to be in finance, but too many Pennacook.
Owen, how about you?
I'm good.
What's that? All right, so then it's Peggy.
Gee, that finance keeps popping up all over the place, right? But I'm just getting the hang of it now because I've been 3 years on it. So I think I'm pretty good where I am too.
Well, you know who would have to take it if you didn't. There has to be one person from each town.
Right.
So it
So,
would be.
And I'm quite sure she'd be much better at it than I am, because I'm definitely not a math person, but I am feeling like I'm getting the hang of it. So I think
Okay.
I'm gonna hold on to it for one more year.
So does that mean that one of us?
Plus I get to work with Tracy. She's
no,
not-
it just means that one of you has to be on, finance has to have, finance is the only one that has to have one person from each town. The others, it doesn't matter where you're from or if you're at large. It's just a 5-person committee.
So Peggy, were you saying you're staying on all the committees that you're on?
Yes, I'm good.
I'm just like little chicks.
All right, Eric. Curriculum,
Sure.
All right.
and that means the finance. Changes then? So you're off, you would like to leave finance?
Yeah, because he already has
Melissa
4. We
Muzzy
really can't go to 5. So,
Is gonna
Yeah,
go
and
on to
I'm kind of in a
finance.
similar situation with policy and finance, but, so it sounds like we've already hashed it out, so it's not making more.
yeah, I think having Melissa on finance and policy and curriculum typically meet the same night. So, if you're going to keep one of those two, that would make more sense, I think.
So that moves Melissa
Melissa into finance.
Yes.
Dan?
What?
And Lauren are the next, and Dan, I think you already.
Yep, I'm good
That's
with the 4 that we have.
I'm good as well.
So we do still have an opening in, on 2 committees that are fairly light-lift committees. We have long-range plan and student ethics.
I'm gonna use Julia.
Oh, that's right, we need to assign Juliet, so that would give her 3 if we put you on long-range plan and student ethics. Because then you'll be on policy, long-range plan, and student ethics.
And do we have to have a new chair for finance?
Yeah, the meetings after March so that first meeting, you'll open up and elect a new chair if, although I'd love to see the person that tries to take policy away from Melissa, but that might be kind of fun.
That will
So, yeah,
definitely
you
be a
have,
feat.
I just said to you, I'm like, unless somebody else wants it,
Yep.
I'm happy to do it.
But yeah, so that's how each
Okay.
committee meeting that happens after.
That happens
We don't really have a chair of like student ethics because, and we unfortunately are going to have to set an appointment up for student ethics later on now that we have the committees. So there's no chair for that because it's not your typical committee, but we'll be bringing forward, a student issue that we'll need to have the board weigh in on.
Thank you.
In the near future?
Yeah, as in, I'm hoping the 25th at 5 o'clock for those folks
Did I
on the
miss that?
student ethics committee. So if we,
Have we, everybody's all set now? Do we have enough on everybody's, on every committee?
Yeah, well, he's gonna.
yes, we do.
Okay. So now we're gonna go set dates.
Yeah, so I'd like to set a date for the student ethics committee for Monday, the 25th at 5 o'clock. So for those of you trying to follow along at home with the committee rearrangements, the student ethics committee is Sally, Melissa, Julia, Peggy, and Laura. So I'm hoping we can do, we'll try it at the SAU. If it looks like the audience is going to be bigger, we may need to move it to here, depending on how many people. 5 o'clock, yep.
Can you repeat the date, Randy?
Yeah, the 25th. So March 25th at 5 o'clock at the SAU.
And this would be a time to talk about the policy meeting. Tentatively, we had it marked for the 18th at 5:30 at the SAU.
I'm so good with that date.
I'm on that one, right?
Policy.
Yeah.
I lost track.
No.
Yeah.
Yep. Melissa, Julia, Sally,
All right,
Jesse, and Eric.
so we sent 18.
We'll send you a reminder too, Julia. I know this is a lot to be thrown out for that first meeting.
5:30?
5:30.
At the SAU, I assume.
Yes.
On the 18th.
Yep.
It's only an
How?
hour. And we're pretty good about sticking to that.
Mhm.
The policy meeting.
5:30.
Are there any other? Are there any other committees that need to meet? Curriculum? Oh, wait,
Not at this time. We don't have any other committees.
no, okay. Sorry.
If we're not on a committee, are we allowed to attend?
Yes, you can attend.
Thank you.
Except for negotiations.
But student ethics, the only ones that-
Yeah, except for negotiations and student ethics. But
Right.
the others, you can be sitting in the public watching the meetings.
Say transportation, not transportation facilities. Did Fred say something
We're
about
still
that?
waiting.
Okay.
Well, it'll be after the next board meeting is coming up pretty quick. It's gonna be
Yes.
April 1st. So it's not a joke when you see that meeting. That's actually going to be our meeting date. But we will be talking about some facilities
Okay,
issues after that.
okay. So next on the agenda is manifest and journal entries.
We have one more thing under new business.
Oh, so we do. Eclipse. Sorry.
Sure.
Go in
Um,
reverse.
So on April 8th, portions of New Hampshire are going to be in the path of totality for the solar eclipse. We aren't directly in the path, but we're going to be at approximately is it 97, 95%. Percent totality. So the moon is traveling in front of the sun, and there's going to be a period of time during that day where we are almost going to be in complete darkness, as though it's almost a complete solar eclipse. It's a pretty cool opportunity, something that we haven't been impacted this directly by in quite some time.
40 years.
How long was it?
40.
40
Yeah,
years.
1959 was the last time.
So
59.
59, that's a little bit more than 40.
That would be almost 60. That
Tracy,
would
you
be-
do the math.
Well, seeing as I was born in 1959, I pretty much know what the math is.
I was sitting here thinking, wait a minute, I wasn't born then. I'm like, that's not 40 years ago.
Yes, I was. Okay.
So, needless to say, this is a rare and historic event. So to
Historic.
ensure,
Thanks.
sure, well, I thought you might take exception to rare, but in order to ensure students are well prepared for this event, we've ordered viewing classes so that all students will have those. And within the buildings, we're going to be reviewing safety recommendations with students for how to safely view the eclipse. Administrators are planning a variety of instructional experiences to prepare students for this. There have been planetarium field trips, and there are some scheduled. In some cases, resources from the planetarium are actually coming to the school. You may have seen that in the good news.
There
Some
was,
people
yes.
have been advertising that. At the middle and high school, science teachers will be leading relating learning experiences in advance of the eclipse so that all students have an understanding of what this is. So the timing of the event, unfortunately, is a little unfortunate. Totality is occurring at approximately 3:29. So that is
Oh,
elementary school
dismissal.
dismissal.
Ooh.
My kids are home.
Ideally, something like this would happen at like 11 a.m. and we would all be going outside and experiencing it together and talking about it, but we're not in control of that. So to ensure that our students do have the opportunity to view the solar eclipse, we will potentially have an early dismissal on this day, and we will be letting you know about that as soon as
cool.
possible. Randy and I have the opportunity to connect with Commissioner Edelblue on Wednesday at our Lakes Region Superintendent's meeting in regards to this. And we'll be discussing any possible recommendations that may be coming from his office in regards to this as well. So I just wanted to share that information with you.
How long does it last?
It lasts like pure totality is about 3 minutes, but there is an extended period of time which there's the slow progression.
I
From-
wasn't born yet during the last.
Yeah.
From about 2:20,
whatever.
from about 2:20 to 4:20, there's going to be, some, part of that as it's going through until it gets to that 95 to 97%. There is still the possibility that it's going to be a cloudy day and all it will do is get a little bit cooler and darker and that's it. But if it ends up being a clear day, it's going to be, quite a phenomenal sight. So any of you that have been around, if you weren't around back in the 50s, there have been some partial eclipses. Even that is pretty cool. So this is a great opportunity, but we'll let you know as soon as we do talk with the department. They were, they tried to get some things passed through the legislature about, declaring it a school holiday and some different things. Right now, they're looking at a variety of different things to allow both travel, because I guess if you're not through the notch on Sunday, you're not getting through the notch. So if you're going to try to travel up to get to the totality,
Yeah.
and if you're not in totality, the 100%, you have to use the glasses, even if it seems so. All of the kids are going to hear this multiple times, but make sure you repeat it to kids. They're all going to have the glasses, but just because it looks like, oh, there's only a tiny bit left, you cannot take those glasses down from your face. So, but we'll let you know as soon as we do about the possibility of early release. We do have an early release schedule that we started at the beginning of this year because, primarily because of weather. And we knew this was going to happen with the eclipse, so that's why we threw that in there.
If you get
So.
information, they're talking about some glasses might be fake and you don't want to use them. So if you get information on the requirements for the glasses, you send that in an email to us, be nice.
Yeah, I think most of those are, you probably don't want to go to Temu and, just
Just-
buy the 20-cent glasses. But we I think are going to have plenty for everyone in the district. We jumped right on the
Including
early order.
board members?
I think we can probably manage to get board members some glasses. Yeah.
Okay.
The McAuliffe Shepherd Center has glasses.
Yes.
if you need
But they
them.
were selling out, it sounded like. They
Oh,
were
they're sold
getting-
out? Oh,
they
sorry.
were-
Yeah.
As fast as they came in, they were going, it
Oh, okay.
sounded like, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that's it.
Sorry to rain on that parade of eclipse. I'm sorry. Made it a cloudy day. So next really and truly is manifest and journal entries. They were made possible for you to view during electronically. And I signed them and Sally signed them. And any discussion?
I have a question.
Okay.
As I was flipping through them,
Uh-huh.
I saw that we have like $5,000 in change that goes to the Concord Monitor. And so I was just curious, I mean, I'm all for supporting local journalism, but I was curious, do we have subscriptions?
No, we don't have subscriptions. That was the actual cost of noticing all of the public hearing.
Okay.
The public notices that we have to notice every year.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
It's gone up substantially over
Yes.
the last couple of years.
I mean, not great that it was $5,000, but you're supporting the Concord Monitor, so. Okay.
We legally have to do it.
Okay. Great that we're abiding by the law.
If we did it, I could find use for the money.
Buy an airplane.
So we do need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion about the manifest and journal entries? All those in favor?
Aye.
You should probably abstain.
Julie's like,
I did
what are,
Send them to you, but you probably didn't know what that.
what that was. The next is, it says on on our agenda, the board chairperson's report. I just wanted to say that yesterday I got a call from Stacy Brown, who is a city council member in Concord. She is with Ward 5. She called and said that she had a lot of produce for our food pantry, and Gail Sweeney, who is the administrative assistant over at the Learning Center, met her on a Sunday at the food pantry. And I do have pictures. Gail sent me pictures of what was donated. It was a lot of fresh produce, which they don't get a lot of. So that was really exciting. Also, I saw Ken Fuller, who is the administrator at the Learning Center. I saw him on Friday evening, and he was talking about the Friendly Kitchen has people who go there and make meals to give out in the community. And they contacted him, or he contacted them, or somehow they got together. And starting this week, they're going to do 5 family meals. And what they are is they've prepared the meals and the families just bring them home and cook them. So there'll be 5 starting this week for families. So some good news there. Assistant Superintendent report.
All right. So I heard Nick reporting on a great deal that's happening in the music department, and I'm going to add to that as well. But before I do, I think Nick forgot to tell us who is the star of the SpongeBob musical.
Yeah, I'm playing SpongeBob.
Yay! Congratulations, Nick. So this past Friday evening, we had 15 middle school musicians perform in the Lakes Region Middle School Music Festival, which was hosted by Newfound High School. It was a great opportunity for our vocalists and our instrumentalists to collaborate with peers throughout the region to grow and share their skills. And I know as a perfect example, Nick highlighted numerous things that are happening in the music department, and Randy and I have talked about some of the great things that we've been seeing there this year. But we have 2 new teachers in both the director of chorus and band positions for the middle and high school, Ms. Janos and Mrs. Babcock, and they are just absolutely outstanding. Those departments are thriving, and I think it's really important. And you saw an example of that on Friday night, so just wanted to continue to highlight that excellent work. And we have another Eddie's winner this year. So Crystal Sierra, she's the MVMS Media Center Specialist. She has learned that she's the recipient of the New Hampshire School Library Media Association Award for Outstanding School Library.
That's awesome.
And so she's going to be recognized in June and get her Eddie's Bell. So congratulations to her. That is my good news.
On to superintendent's report.
All right, well, first of all, thank you all for being part of the annual meeting on Friday. My weekend was spent reflecting on that evening, and that's kind of like our Super Bowl. So we have, going to that night, and then when it's over, you reflect on the Super Bowl and prepare for the next Super Bowl. So we're already talking about, next year. So, it certainly was, an experience. So I'd like to say kudos to a couple of people. So Julie Gaudette, who immediately stepped up. I just looked over and nodded to her when a special ed question was mentioned, and that's all it took. I just looked over and nodded, and she got right up and went to the microphone. She answered specific questions, and the ones that she didn't know, she went right back and figured them out and then delivered that information, which I thought was great. To Hillary for having the figures at the ready, and whatever was asked of her, she stayed calm, delivered the information. If she had to clarify, she had the information and was able to clarify that. So I think it was pretty obvious she was totally prepared for that evening and the questions that may come up. And to Fred for, dealing, I think there was some rudeness directed, and I think that he handled things and did his best to try to explain, and trying to get to the point that to the point of the question. So I really appreciate, especially those 3 stepping up. I judge the overall effectiveness of the meeting as really the three articles that we had, and did we get what we needed to, and all 3 were yeses. So I think that's really the big takeaway from that. So if it's a Super Bowl, that's kind of in the win column. And I think we've heard about voter turnout, and there being just over 200 people. And it was pointed out that it was a win by 40 votes, and that's 40 people. Another way to look at that, if we're for the math people like Peggy, that's also 50% higher, 50% increase from the no vote. So there's different ways that you can look at that, but we did get the support. And when you look at some of the area school districts, there was a local school district that their budget was cut by 10% in a 5-hour meeting, where the superintendent did not say a word for all those 5 hours, and was knocked down by 10%. That's a big chunk, and that's a lot of positions and programs and things like that. So I really appreciate the support that the community continues to show. And I reflect on things that I think I could have done better. I think there were a few times that I probably should have answered. I did have some folks reach out to me and appreciated the fact that I didn't get into a back and forth. So there is that balance, but I think there were a couple of times, in talking about the cost per student, and how, if it's somebody's not paying, you have to make up that amount. That's not how things work. Once there's a class, if there's a class of 15 and there's a teacher teaching that class, when a student gets added, there is no additional money that has to come to that class. It's actually anyone over once that class is established, is really revenue. So if a student moves into the district, we don't have to add $16,000 to our operating budget for that student. They're going into existing classes. So I wish that I had stepped up a little bit there. The 90% number that was thrown around as as some sort of discount, I wish that I had stepped in a little more and, pointed out that that is without transportation and it's without special ed costs. And it only takes a couple of outplacements for that is going to make that cost be much higher. And I'm sure that, digging into the numbers for Merrimack Valley, if we had an easy way to separate those special ed costs, we'd find that minus those special ed costs, it's not really any sort of discount at all. So I wish that I had stepped in a little bit there. And the other one was part of the negotiations. It was incorrectly painted as some sort of lack of transparency. And we've spoken with multiple lawyers, not just our direct legal counsel, that is considered a best practice. So this is how we've done negotiations. It's considered a best practice. It's what some employment attorneys pitch to people as part of doing their negotiations. So I think that, I don't know that there would have been a way to say that without getting into the back and forth. So, that's just another thing on the list, but just something that I reflect at. So I think those are some of the areas that I could have done better. I'm sure there were others, but those are the ones that when I woke up, early in the morning on Saturday and started typing and writing things down, those were the ones that sort of hit me about ways that I could have done better. So I will, part of this is learning. So I strive to be better at the next meeting and make sure that, to better serve the board and people so that they know that really what a great board and a great community we have. So when it's painted in a light that doesn't represent that, I feel as though it's my duty to find a way to sort of right those wrongs and make points. So I will do better as I look to improve as we move along. So that's the longest report you're ever going to hear from me. And now let me pass the mic back.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Topics for the next board meeting?
I'd like to make it more official now that we maybe think about appointing a Pennacook representative to the joint city council school board for Concord.
Are you thinking one or two, or we'll talk about that
I
next
believe they
time?
only have, for last when I spoke with the city manager, they only had one per school. So like Concord gets one and MV would get one.
Gotcha.
So
I was thinking that you were talking about the meeting that used to happen on Friday mornings.
that actually was that, but now you mean the one that happened at like 7 a.m.?
Yes, yes, that was the one.
Yes, so that was essentially this. I believe it was Mark who actually would go sometimes. However, that has potential to change, especially since I believe the Concord school board representative has stepped down.
Oh, okay.
So that's when I kind of spoke to the manager about it. It might it has the potential to move. Hence why it would now be an opportunity for maybe those of us who work to actually attend that.
Anything else? Anything else? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, next public comment. Thank you, Nick.
Louise Andrew Salisbury. Last Friday night's meeting was great. I loved it. I loved the people asking questions and the answers coming back. I thought it was a great interaction. Secondly, please thank the group of students that sang the national anthem. It was beautiful. I mean, I commend them. I mean, they did a great job. 3, I want to congratulate all 3 school board members that won their candidacy. and wish you the best for the next 30 years. The next thing, I have as a suggestion, and I'm not quite sure how you can do it. Most people I'm finding have no idea about the grants that the school has received in the last 3 or 4 years, like the grants for uh, equipment or ESSR 1 or 2 or 3. I would like to see a list produced and either put on the website or in the school board packet of the grants, all grants received and what you spent them on. Because, I mean, really, people do not have a clue. The next thing, and I'm hoping you can do it at the next meeting. When I was in candidates night in Loudon the other night, I was very surprised when somebody stood up and asked about students getting meals, and their group pays $45,000 towards it. And I'm thinking, what is going on? I would never deny any child the right to eat, but I do question is, are we receiving all the money from people that can pay, or are some paying and some are not paying? And if the ones that can pay aren't paying, they should be. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public? Marcia? I'm sorry, Louise, I didn't say your name when
Marsha Murphy from Salisbury. One of the questions I have, I know you don't take questions, but if somebody could reach out to me on the warrant article for the raises for the administrators in year 2 and 3, there was a figure there, but there was no percentage. And I would just like to know what the percentage is. And my second thing is, and again, this is not, don't need an answer because I know you don't give answers, that in the overage, for 4,600, right now it's at 406,899, and what was budgeted was 225,000. Last year, budgeted was 153,700, and at this point in time, we're over by 288,967. And then for the upcoming year, only 275,000 has been budgeted. Where this always happens, I don't understand why 4,600 is always underfunded in the budget. And it's obviously that other areas must be overfunded if we can go and transfer the money like that. And I don't understand why that happens, because I don't think it's a true realistic budget if this is what's happening. And I didn't go back more than 1 year, more than 23 to see about it. But that's something I think that people should be paying attention to, at least out in the public, is that our budget is not really what it should be. And I don't think that Fred's out there either spending money willy-nilly. So I just think, I don't know, obviously he must have needed this money, but then why do we always have this money over in other places and shorten his budget? That's it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Public comment?
So now if you can just close public comment
Okay, so we're going to close public comment.
and I'll respond.
Okay.
Marcia, it's your lucky night. You're going to get a couple of answers. How's that? Yep. So we've closed public comment, so it won't be a back and forth. It won't become a public hearing. But the percentages were announced as part of the overview when Sally was reading it. So year 2 is 2.39%, and the third year is 2.57%. Yeah, well, that would do it. So the first year is 5.01%, year 2 is 2.39%, and year 3 is 2.57%.
Do we need public? I mean,
We
do we
need
non-public?
yep.
Okay. So I would like to have a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A 3II.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Oh,
Who was the second on that, Jessica?
that was.
Yes.
Okay. Katie Jones Blanchard,
Yes.
Tracy Bricky,
Yes.
Sally Hurst Dickinson.
Yes.
Jessica Wheeler Russell,
Yes.
Laura Vincent,
Yes.
Eric Hansen,
Yes.
Daniel York,
Yes.
Owen Harrington,
Yes.
Lauren Martin,
Yes.
Melissa Muzzy,
Yes.
Julia Jones.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll go get it.
I just want to.
I'll just make sure he doesn't take off.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Are we what?
Question that they asked.
I don't see why not, and I don't even know